Hey, how are we all doing? So first of all, what a gorgeous day. I had to get outside because the sun's out, feels warm on the face, and it actually feels like spring. I know it's still only January, but my God, I can't wait for the summer. So I want to talk about something today that I've kind of discovered over the past couple of weeks that's kind of really unblocked me on this journey that I'm trying to create to sort of turn my life around. And I think it'll affect a lot of people that are watching this. And that is, have you ever kind of really wanted to change something in your life, no matter what it is, no matter which sort of area, you really, really kind of want it, have wanted it for maybe for like months or years, yet nothing's changed. Now, I thought this might be down to motivation. Actually, I don't think it is. And over the past couple of weeks since New Year, I've kind of realized why change has been so hard for me. And it really isn't what I thought it would be. Now, I believe most of us, somewhere deep down, know actually what we want. It may be scary, we may not know how to get there, but we kind of know what it is. Maybe it's kind of better health, more sense of purpose, more sort of direction in life, or maybe it's just more energy and more fun, whatever it may be. And we make plans and we start to change. New Year's Eve is pretty good for this. We kind of make changes. Maybe we start going to the gym, for example. And for a while, things start to change and things start to feel really good. But then life kicks back in. Same old habits, routines, work, stresses. And before we know it, we've given up on our plans, on our goals, wondering what's wrong. Why can't I do it like everyone else? And that's something I've been guilty of in the past. And I'll put my hand up to that. Now, what I've come to realize is wanting change isn't rare. The people I work with, for example, they all want kind of change. But whilst wanting change isn't rare, actually living a different life is quite unusual. And what I mean by that is that for years, I've been trying to change things in a life that's designed to pull me back the other way. Things like same routines, same expectations, same stresses, all these things are kind of designed to kind of pull you backwards as opposed to moving forward. So let me give you a few examples of my own kind of life. So let's say a typical weekend. I've had a few beers and wake up Monday morning and feel a bit groggy. Because I'm feeling groggy, I'm then, first thing I'm doing when I wake up is I'm looking at my phone. Now I'm either doom scrolling in the news, which to be honest, no one needs to see that first thing in the morning, or I'm sort of looking at social media and comparing myself. And straight away, that triggers the brain to kind of not a great place. I then get up, I'm running a bit behind, so I rush off to work and I sit down over my email. Straight away, without a plan, I'm getting bombarded with everyone else's requests, stuff that needs to be caught up on over the weekend. And suddenly, straight away, my time's gone. I'm dealing with everyone else's sort of priorities and not my own. And let's be honest, we all know it, Monday can go by so quick. You come away with it thinking, what the hell have I actually achieved? And then you go home. Now, because you're feeling stressed, you can't be asked to sort of go for a walk or anything. You just go home, spend time with the family, but already you're kind of not in a great place. And then you get to the evening, kids have gone to bed, and you think, oh, you know what? I deserve a beer. And then before you know it, the evening's come to an end. You go into bed a bit later than you should, and rinse and repeat the next day. And suddenly the whole week becomes the same kind of cycle. Every day, kind of just these stresses and kind of no momentum. And what I say is that typical sort of weekday, it works against you in the sense that if you want to know if your life is sort of stacked up against you that badly, it makes change really hard. You're almost trying to force it through. And that's why I discovered that actually what we need to do is sort of tackle those sort of micro habits and routines to adjust them into a lifestyle that actually pushes you towards the life you want, as opposed to trying to force through it when everything's working against you. Now, don't get me wrong, you can't change everything at once because it would overwhelm me, it'd probably overwhelm you. It's just not something you can do. But normally there's one or two things at the top of the list that if you change, it affects everything else. Now, for me, to give that example, was the booze. I decided to kind of give up booze for now. I'm now in week 2. I was kind of a bit late to the whole dry Jan thing, but I've now given up booze for 2 weeks. And how that's changed everything else has been really interesting. So the first week, nothing really changed. It kind of is what it is. But the second week, I really remember it was the Sunday, and I suddenly had energy. And in the evening, once my son had gone to bed, instead of sitting there having the sort of last beer of the weekend, I decided to sort of set out the priorities for the week, what was important to me. And that was regards to not sort of work stuff, but, health, the stuff I work on my side hustle, and planning when I was going to do these things. And I had a lot more motivation for it. And then I set myself a deal that on the Monday, when I woke up, I wasn't going to look at my phone. I was just going to get straight up, get outside and go for a walk. And I did that. I then sat down to work, and I was far calmer, far less stressed than I would have been on a normal Monday. Day went by, as any other day does, and come the evening, I still had energy. And guess what? I went for a run. I haven't run now and just be very clear, when I say run, a slow jog. And I haven't done that in a year or so. And the way that made me feel that Monday evening was insane. I felt really good about myself. And that energy, sorry, I can't speak properly. That energy then seemed to stay with me the next day and the day after. And ultimately what it's meant is I've wanted to kind of work on the things that are important to me. Getting this video out finally. Again, it's been weeks since I've done this, but I've kind of felt more, I don't like the word motivation, but I've kind of wanted to get it done. And I feel like I'm kind of living the life of the person I want to be, as opposed to the old kind of habits and sort of routines that hold me back, if that makes sense. And it's really worked. And all that is just by cutting out one habit, the boozing. There are other things that I can look at to kind of upgrade or sort of get rid of. And that's what I'm going to do over the next kind of couple of months. Just instead of trying to sort of force the goals and force everything else, just trying to adjust my days to be more in line with the person I want to be and the kind of life I want, if that makes sense. So for me, if that's the effect, one habit or one routine can affect everything else, that's what I'm going to try now going forwards over the next couple of months. Excuse me, it's slippery here. I fall over, you can have a laugh. Yeah, so basically what I want to try and do is, instead of I've got the goals, they're there, that's what I'm working towards, but I'm kind of living my days and weeks with kind of a bit more intention and looking at what kind of serves me. What do I need to ditch? What's the kind of old life I need to leave behind? And what's the new stuff I need to kind of introduce? And if anything, it feels really exciting. I've got a feeling of kind of purpose again, bit of direction, which I've not had in quite a while. So I'm curious, are you in the same boat? Are you trying to make change, sort of struggling to get kind of momentum going? If you are in the same situation, leave us a comment below and let us know what's going on. Really good to know. So I'm going to leave it there. Thanks for watching as always. And if you're new to this and you kind of want to create a change in your life, please subscribe. And if you are watching this and you already subscribed, please hit the like button. It massively helps. And at some point, I'll owe you a beer. Anyway, I'll leave it there for now. Have a good week, and I'll see you next time.